Shut up and sit down.
Welcome once again to the Shite Talks podcast show. I'm your host, Mark Kearns, and Ken.
What's the crack?
Here as always on yet another Shite Talk day.
Yeah, a day full of shit.
I heard on the radio, now I don't know if this recording was old when I heard it or not, but I think it might be International Men's Day.
Jesus.
I didn't bother to do any research as if it is International Men's Day. I've not heard anything about International Men's Day online, so it mightn't be International Men's Day. I always thought it was in December. I always thought it was around December 12th was International Men's Day.
I haven't heard that it's not.
Yeah, and you know, it's the year of fake news, or the decade of fake news. So like, we could always just say Happy International Men's Day, and like very few of them will ever correct us.
Yeah, nobody will ever correct us.
No one ever.
Like,
Like,
because we're never wrong, in fairness.
yeah, well, if we never research any of the things we talk about, we'll never know if we're wrong or not, and we'll just have to presume that we're right.
We'll also never care if we're wrong or not.
Yeah, exactly. Judging by the show today, we're going to take that very seriously and not caring if we're wrong or not, because we got several stories, very lightly researched, mostly hearsay. And I don't know about you, Ken, but the research today was a little bit tricky. Actually is November 19th. So we're recording this on the Thursday. So it is actually International Men's Day today. Yeah, like it was, other than the fact that it was International Men's Day, which obviously took up a lot of stories that we didn't want to keep going on about it. There was this small matter of the US election that happened 2 weeks ago, but apparently the internet's still talking about it. I wonder why. So yeah, there's been a lot less stories today, but we did manage to scrape together an election-free, COVID-free International Men's Day show. So all the big talking points clearly of the week are not being talked about, and we found a unique stories that obviously our mainstream media aren't covering, that I guess we call ourselves a media company, Shite Talk Podcast Show Media Limited Ltd. Better mark that before someone else gets it. And yeah, we found some interesting stories. We found the Pope Francis getting a bit red-faced over Instagram. We found fast food employees telling their most weirdest shit that they've seen. So we'll also be talking about weird stuff we've seen while in the workplace. We'll be talking about, this is like, we pretty much have an Idiots of the Week special. Most of our stories is from Idiots of the Week. So we have Idiots of the Week this week. This is kind of like a throwback, and it's the first 4 Idiots of the Week, this first story, because it's this guy, he did this when he was 12, and in 2012. He did this years ago. And so he's only becoming an Idiot of the Week now. The reason is he sold a kidney for an iPhone. Talking about the repercussions of that. So this happened a few years ago. So it's the first time someone who has been retroactively given the title of Idiot of the Week, where it was at least a year since what he did was an Idiot of the Week kind of thing. And then we'll be talking about a blogger who got banned off eBay.
That sounds interesting.
And then we have a guy who's allergic to electricity.
Yeah.
I'm going to put an exclamation mark. This could be we might look back on the story and go, oh, this is actually a real condition. But it hasn't been studied yet by scientists. There's no official allergy to electricity that we know of. However, there are several people who claim to be allergic to electricity around Britain.
Yeah, well, I'd say probably around the world, but yeah.
Yeah, around the world. And I imagine this is going to spike now with the 5G thing.
Oh, definitely. His is actually made worse by 5G. But we'll get into that.
We'll get into that, yeah. He says very stupid things that made us believe that he's a little bit crazy. So that's our show, and we might as well get into it. So let's start with the Pope. And we both know, lads, Ken, they have to be very, very careful about who they follow on Instagram or what photos they like on Instagram, because if their girlfriends get whiffs of who they follow or a photo, like maybe inappropriate photo that they liked, there'll be a little bit of hell to pay on their behalf. So they have to use their work account in order to get their daily fix of their Insta models.
And if one of those people is listening, yes, we are talking about you.
Well, do you know what? There's gonna be many lads out there that are like that. We probably do know a few people that we train with or that we know in our own other social circles that would have girlfriends who would be a little bit annoyed if they seen their work phone Instagram account and who they follow and photos that they like. They'd be very, very annoyed. But do you know what? What they don't know can't hurt them.
It's not the shite talk way.
Yeah, what they don't know can't hurt them. That's what they anyway go off. So what happened over the last, or I guess around October, this has actually happened. I was going to say over the week, but this actually happened around the 5th of October, and it's only really coming to light now, is their worst nightmare. And Pope's Instagram account liked a Brazilian model called Natalia Garbato. She was wearing a schoolgirl's outfit that was very skimpily schoolgirl outfit at that. So the Pope was caught rapid, pretty much.
It would have to be a schoolgirl's outfit, though, wouldn't it?
In fairness, the only thing that could make that photo any worse if it was some lad wearing a schoolboy's outfit.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Like if it was a schoolboy's outfit, it would be far, far worse. But based on what the Catholic Church has got up to in the last few years, they would want to stay anyway, so far away from school, anything, and sex.
Yeah.
You don't want to imagine that they'd want to put those two things so far away from each other that this definitely wasn't a good look for the Pope. And now we should point out that the Pope is about 83. Well, I don't actually know the Pope's age. He's between 83 and 105. That's roughly what I say his age is. What about you, Ken?
I would say that the Pope is 83.
All right, we'll go with 83.
Yeah, I would say that his birthday is probably December 17th, 1936.
Rough guess. Is that? Have you ever been caught rapid either looking at a girl or liking a certain girl's account before? Have this ever happened to you where you've been caught out?
No, usually, see, I'm a little bit older, so I don't really give too much of a shit about Instagram pictures.
Yeah, you wouldn't be following a lot of Insta models.
I don't. Yeah,
I keep my porn magazines under the bed, like any rational man born in the 80s. Is what you're saying. I get you.
No, I.
You have a secret stash.
I don't really use Instagram in that way.
Yes. Yeah, nuts is your preferred.
Do they even still make that?
No, I imagine Nut and every other Filthy Men magazine has gone out of business long time ago.
Filthy Men's magazine.
That's what it was. It was like the top shelf. It was like where all the filth. Anytime you went into the news agency, you always see men just gawking, pretending like they're looking at the sports section, but just above the sports section would always be the naughty magazines.
Those Filthy Men's magazines.
The filthy, dirty men's magazines. Kids today will never know the embarrassment of having to go into a shop and buy a porn magazine.
I never did.
No, I never did either. That passed me by as well. But my sister, my older sister.
Oh, your older sister used to buy porn magazine.
No, she used to work in a shop. She was when she was 16, she had a job working in a shop over on the weekends, and she would say she always would see lads and they go in and they do the typical thing at the time, which was buy jellies but buy load of different things, and then also happen to have a dirty magazine as well on top of that. So they'd try to disguise their purchases over other things, and just so happen like maybe your owner would notice that they'd have a dirty magazine, and they just scan the back of it. So like it would be quite funny. But like,
yeah, like that. I remember when I first started working in a shop, like the same thing. Like lads would come in, they'd buy 2 magazines, or they'd buy a newspaper and a magazine, but they'd have one of the magazines flipped upside down.
yeah.
That you would just literally see the barcode of it, and when me and another lad that I used to work with, like we used to deliberately flip them back over and put it down on top so that like people could see it.
Yeah, I think this was like men's opening thing of like having to learn how to buy embarrassing things. I think men like who did that would have a little more confidence of buying other embarrassing items like that wouldn't faze them as much. It was kind of like almost like a rite of passage. Like if you're born around the 90s, 80s, is buying like you and your friends going out and buying a dirty magazine. Like it's something that they will pass us by, but like they used to be passed around like nobody's
Yeah.
business as well. I don't even know how we got onto that part of that story, but back to the Pope anyway.
Yeah, that's how we got onto it. The Pope.
Well, we'd probably have to say that the Pope is 83, and he probably doesn't control his own Insta account.
Or maybe he does.
I'd imagine that's definitely given to somebody else. And like it probably was like a worthy mention for Idiot of the Week. There's like on any other weeks that they wouldn't have so many Idiots of the Week. This probably would have made it onto Idiots of the Week, because imagine that lad who obviously he was like runs the social media accounts for the Vatican and puts out all the tweets and photos up on Instagram that they want shared to his adoring fans. I think there's like 4 or 5 million people. There's 9 million between both of them. Anyway,
he's still a priest. Like whoever runs that is probably a priest.
Yeah,
or a cardinal, or
yeah. Like yeah, more than likely probably shouldn't have been liking the photo anyway. It doesn't make it anyway better. Like the fact that it's in a schoolgirl outfit makes it far worse. It doesn't actually. One way that you might actually look at this, if you were to, you know, this probably was Pope Francis, is he has said some weird things around sex. Like he's trying to be more like laid back, chilled Pope. Like, and if you're familiar with anything that what the Pope said like over the last few years, this is what you call a laid back Pope. Like he's only came out recently and said like gay marriage is like okay, isn't a sin, and I think he's made some other kind of statements around other things. But his latest one was around gay marriage, and he said like it's not a sin or something like that. But this is like about time. But like this is how slowly the Catholic Church works. Like it's like these things takes decades for them to acknowledge anything.
He's trying to be cool, Pope.
Yeah, he's talked about sex as well. And he's compared it to eating food. So he says, the pleasure of eating is to keep us healthy. Just like sex, where he says the pleasure of sex is love, but in a more beautiful and to guarantee the protection of the species. So he says the pleasure of eating and sex is pleasure from God. So when you orgasm, that's from God. God's making you orgasm, basically.
So why aren't priests allowed to have sex then?
You'd also wonder, as you say, well, if when you orgasm, it's actually from God, doesn't that make you gay? No. Isn't that like your divine right to have sex then? So now the reasons why you're allowed to have sex, according to the Pope, is for pleasure and to obviously have babies.
So because God said so.
Yes, he's the word of God, but you have to acknowledge that is God making you orgasm, not your partner.
Oh, fair enough.
Fair
Is
enough.
that why a lot of people usually say like, oh God or Jesus or
Yes, they're acknowledging the Lord's in them.
in more ways than one.
In more ways than one. And that God's going to be in them even more when someone else's God goes into them. Like, the Pope has, like, in many ways, like, taken a slanted turn, like, say, oh yeah, okay, I acknowledge that people have sex for pleasure, but then I had to make it weird by saying, oh, by the way, it's God that's making you, like, orgasm. That orgasms come from God. Like, if this is the word from God, God seems like a narcissist.
The only person that can do this to you is God.
Yeah, that orgasm wasn't from your partner, was from God.
It was God.
God put it in you. God giving you the D, or letting you, yeah. Yeah, so it was a bit weird. I hope no religious people are listening to the show.
Well, they're not anymore.
No, they've turned it off long ago. This show is just not for me. This is not what I thought the show was when I first turned on.
Yeah, I don't know what I expected from a show called the Shite Talk podcast. It wasn't this.
I listened to the intro. The intro sounded nice, and it just wasn't. It wasn't nice.
The intro told me to shut up and sit down, so I did.
This is the last time I listened to the intro. I guess what we should listen to, though, is fast food employees. Because, well, I imagine that, like, it's a pretty safe career. Normal stuff of just people coming and collecting their food and going on about their business. But someone on Reddit obviously had the idea and said, no, I think they see some shit. I look into their eyes as they hand me some food, and they have a face like they've seen some shit. So they've
definitely seen some shit.
Yeah. And I guess you work in retail, so I'd say you've seen some shit.
Literally, I've seen some shit.
We're going to talk, anyway, later on in this topic about, like, weird stuff we've seen while at work. But we'll first go into what fast food workers have seen. And now, like, this basically happened on Reddit, where someone asked me anything, asked, hey, people who work in drive-thrus, what's the weirdest shit you've seen? And a few people got back, and most of it is kind of normal enough weird stuff that they'd see. That none that would, like, jump out the window as like, Jesus fuck, like a calf in the car when they went to pick up the McDonald's. Someone had an alpaca, which is fucking weird as fuck. Had an alpaca, and the only thing the person was ordering was apples for the alpaca, and went to the drive-thru, asked for apple slices. And I imagine, like, you wouldn't get that many apple slices, but your one in the drive-thru gave him out a whole bag of, like, apple slices for the alpaca, and didn't charge him anything. It was, like, pretty sound of it.
Oh, that's sound.
But did actually start to get a little bit weird near the end, and one person was remarking that she seen a car pull up to the window, and there was about 4 people inside, but they're all completely naked, just casually naked, like, going about their day. She said, and that was weird, but the car was literally filled to shoulder height in trash. Like, the back of it was, like, probably near neck height of trash, and was just below shoulder height in the, like, passenger and driver seat.
Just full of shit, like.
Just full of just trash. That's the only thing she's described it as, trash. She said she was so stunned about basically what she seen that she nearly forgot to give them their food.
Which did she find weirder, that it was covered in trash or that they were all naked?
She didn't answer that. I imagine it was just a mixture of both. I'd imagine they're pretty dirty cars, but maybe they're like, my car is so dirty that I don't need to wear clothes. Like, the clothes are basically covering all my bits. And, like, how does she know if there's trash was up to their shoulder height? How do they know if they're, like, fully naked?
That's a good question.
Yeah. So
maybe she got into the car.
What is some weird shit you've seen while at work?
I'm not going to count stuff that happens at Halloween, because stuff that happens at Halloween is, like, Halloween-y shit.
Yeah.
So I had a customer come up to me before and say, sorry, but my daughter's pissed on the floor over there.
Yeah, like, I'd be like, here's some tissue.
Yeah, I went and got a mop, and when I got the mop, she was gone.
At least she, I guess, warned you of it.
I've had an owl lad shit on the floor. Like he shit himself and it like
Just
fell down the leg of his trousers onto the floor.
did he like acknowledge it even?
Not really, no.
What? Just kept going. Just
Like he was probably really, really embarrassed about it, so he just kind of left.
pretend like, all right, if I draw attention to it by looking at it, more people will see it. So I'll just pretend like no one's seen it, and then no one will see it.
Yeah, like most of the weird shit that I would encounter, people have a tendency to, because they see you regularly and they maybe have a chat with you regularly, they think they know you.
Yeah. I know this when I went out to a pub with my friend in a village where he works, and he works like in a supermarket as well. And
Yeah.
my God, I thought I was out with a celebrity. I imagine this is how famous people get, like if they go walk into a pub. There was literally 2/3 of the pub came up and had chats with him and said, "Oh my God, you're that person from the supermarket." And
Yeah,
would talk to him about seeing him in the supermarket.
Shite, like. Yeah.
It's so weird. They're like
It's really fucking annoying. But because people think that they know you from coming into the shop, they tell you things that you don't need to know.
"Oh, really?"
Yeah.
Spill the beans.
Like I've had people tell me, people that you don't know, except for maybe saying hi or going, "Yeah, I'll show you where the fucking biscuits are," tell me that they've got a really bad dose of the runs.
Yeah.
Or ask for medical advice.
That's a weird person to ask for. Like,
yeah,
if you imagine
that's a
you're
good
going to
one,
go to a person like in a very public place and ask for medical advice, you just go to the doctor.
Or a pharmacist.
Pharmacist. Yeah, pharmacist would be the next best call, because you might go, "Oh, the doctor's going to charge me 60 quid.
Yeah, I'll go to the pharmacist. If the pharmacist says I go to the doctor, I'll go to the doctor.
Yeah, exactly. That's your free health care right there. Just go to the pharmacy, and usually they have like a doctor or a person like who might, like a prescription person who's kind of medically trained. Some of the bigger ones that can go have a look at you sometimes. So that's a bit weird. Like, I work in a mobile truck washing place, so like I get like weird, like either people like not great English asking for weird things, and just people just saying random things in like staff shops. So one guy who like that, I'd know him from, like, you get to know security guards pretty well.
Yeah.
And some of them build up a rapport with you and be like, "Can you wash my car for me?" And we might go, "Yeah, just show us like a $5 or something." Or if we like them, we might say to them, "Oh, we'll wash it for free."
Yeah.
This guy didn't have great English and only wanted us to like rinse off his car with water, so just use the high pressure lance. So he asked us, "Could you give my car a blowjob?" And we're like, "What?" He goes, "Blowjob." And he starts shaking his hands. I said, "That's not a blowjob, sir." that is not how you give a blowjob. I will do that to your car, though. I will rinse your car, but I cannot perform a blowjob on it. Another one was like, I was in a staff shop, and this guy is like from Africa. He traveled here from Africa. He's dark, and is in a staff shop, and there's only about 4 of us in the shop, including the one that works behind the till. He picks up some fake tan and turns to her as serious as Sunday and says, "Will this work on me?" And she looks at him, looks at everyone else in the shop, because there was only like me and like one other person, looks back at him and goes, "No, I don't think so."
And sometimes they do that stuff for the crack.
Oh no, like he like, yeah. I know this guy from being around. He would be like, kind of, he was doing this to take the piss. Like that was a joke. Like everyone kind of know that would have been a joke. It wasn't like an awkward thing. She was like, "This is you serious? I don't know what to say to this." Yes. So yeah, like, and weird things. I've got calls, or I've got people rushing out of the place going, "There's shit everywhere," and I'm like, "Call somebody else." It's like, that doesn't seem like your truck is dirty. That seems like your plumbing is fucked. I'm not going anywhere near that.
Fuck that shit. Yeah, like I'm trying to think of other ones that have happened. Oh, there's this weird guy that like or two stories. One, there's a lot of like stuff where kind of dirty people come in and you see like dirty things. Like there's a guy that comes in. He's a big guy. He always has like his tracksuit bottoms are rolled down, like literally rolled, like not that they're falling down, they're rolled down
Yeah.
about halfway down his fucking acne riddled arse. And his like top always stops about 4 inches above where he has his tracksuit bottoms rolled down, and his arse is always hanging out.
So his belly and his arse there's on show.
Yeah, there's another guy that comes in that is he always creeps on all the girls.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Like,
what age is he?
Oh, like I'd say he's maybe in his late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah.
And like these girls are from 18
Oh God.
to like 24, 22, 23, 24 ish.
Yeah.
And like he does stuff like one of the girls got her nails done a while ago, and he comes in and he's like, "I like your nails," and she's like, "All right, thanks." And then he puts his arm in, he's like, "Just scratch me."
Oh, that's weird.
And she's like, "No," and he's like, "Go on, I'll give you a $5."
A $5? Like she gone, oh well, for a $5.
Yeah, like just fucking. There's a lot of that kind of stuff.
I think one of the lads, and I think the guy who said to him is a bit soft, and you generally do run into people who they're there because like someone felt sorry for them and they've nowhere else to be, and they've just a job for having a job's sake. But this guy I think might be a little bit soft, and one of the lads was he's going into the building for whatever reason, and your man stops and goes, "Looking good, baby," and like slaps him on the ass. I wanted to hug him like for another one of the other times. He's like, "No, you're not fucking hugging me."
Like I'm gonna flip it though a little bit and say that like there's people that I would say I'm close with that I work with. There's maybe four people that I work with that I'd say I'm close with.
Yeah.
And if the four of us are working together and customers come in, they're definitely thinking, what the fuck is going on in this place? Like they could walk in on any sort of a conversation or something mental going on.
Yeah.
Like anything could be happening if the four of us are working together.
Yeah, well, yeah, we don't really have that because we're like confined to a van. So all of our weird stuff normally happens mid-travel.
Particularly if we're busy, it's even worse because you're getting kind of annoyed because you're so busy.
Yeah.
And then somebody asks you something stupid and you start like just losing your mind altogether.
Do you ever do games you have to work like a sentence or some weird word, some obscure word into like a conversation? We
used to. Have you ever seen Super Troopers?
No.
Super Troopers, it's about like state troopers. It's like one of those stoner movies. It's about state troopers, and they do this thing when they pull people over where they have to work the word meow into their conversation. So they're all going, "Do you know what your speed was, meow?" and stuff like. And we used to do that in work. Like you used to have to like try and say meow instead of now when you're talking to customers, and just see if anybody noticed. And like one of the lads took it to an extreme, and he was like licking himself like a cat and stuff when he was dealing with a customer. So maybe people out there have weird stories of their own, and it is kind of weird, kind of characters that you do meet when you are in workplaces. You meet the strangest and weirdest people ever. Like if you work, obviously if you work with general public, that you're meeting the weirdest people. But like just in I say every office place has a weird person. And one of my friends said, there's like, we were talking about people in work, and she said there was this girl, all she ate every day was raw broccoli. She never had anything with it. She's not like I'd have raw broccoli, but I'd have like chicken or tuna, and I'd have it like in a salad. She just literally just ate raw broccoli. Yeah, why not? So weird. She was from Canada as well. Oh, there you go. Somebody should ask her what's all the raw broccoli about.
Boot. Yeah, exactly. Or just like say, is this a Canadian thing?
What's this all about?
Also, things that are odd and strange are people that feature on our segment called Idiots of the Week. This is where a part of the show where we talk about people doing stupid things, and it's for people who are stupid, and it's researched by people who are stupid. We call it Idiots of the Week. I know I've messed that up, but you know what? I've already said that we're tick. What do you expect? And our first Idiot of the Week happened several years ago. I don't know if you remember this story, Ken, but it was of a teenage boy who wanted, I think it was an iPhone 4S at the time. I don't know how much the iPhone was at the time, but he was on like an internet chat room, and he decided that after talking to someone online, I don't know what sites he was on, but someone convinced him that he could get $3,200 for a kidney on the black market. So he traveled to the Shanghai region of China and basically organized on the black market to get his kidney removed and sold on the black market. With the proceeds, he bought himself an iPad 2 and I think the iPhone 4S. He got I think roughly about £3,000 or $3,000 for basically the kidney. That would be about 20,000 yen, and basically bought him it. He was only a teenager at the time, so obviously when he came home, mother was asking him, all right, where do you get the money for the iPads and iPhone? You can't afford this. And managed to get it out of him. To which now the reporter didn't say what his mom did, but I don't know what mothers are like in China, but I'd imagine if I told my mother that I had bought an iPhone and iPad with the proceeds of selling my kidney online in the black market, I'd probably be beaten to death.
Is this story definitely true?
Yeah, it was. It was covered by. I remember at the time this was covered by a lot of media outlets.
So, how did his mother not discover before he bought the iPhone and the iPad?
I was really impressed at the time and still now that a teenager managed to travel to a different city without his parents realising, get an operation, which I imagine that he'd be in care for afterwards for a few days. Travel home.
My sister had a kidney transplant. You're in care for months after.
Okay, so I'll go on from what happened. His mother obviously went to the police, and 9 men were arrested, including the person who performed the operation, person who facilitated the money transfer for the kidney and the operation, as well as the person who allowed him to use their premises. In total, there was about 9 people that were arrested, and it was an international investigation under organ transfer, illegal organ transfer. But because he wasn't obviously given proper aftercare that he needed, he ended up getting an infection in his kidney, and he basically is now bedridden and can't leave his bed because of the resulting problems with his kidneys. His parents ended up getting about 300,000 in compensation after the accident as well. So he probably could have bought a few new iPhones after that. Because my big question about it was, okay, but in a year's time there's going to be another iPhone, and you're probably going to want that one just as badly. So what else are you going to sell? Well, obviously now after the compensation, he could buy himself as many iPhones as he wanted.
Yeah, I don't know how he would have kept that such a secret, from his parents.
Yeah, in fairness, he had I think I said he was young teenager at the time. I'm still a little bit impressed though that he was able to organize and then travel by himself into a different city to get a kidney operation.
When my sister had her kidney transplant, they explored the idea of a live donor first.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of effort.
What do you mean?
The doctors were you really have to think about this, because as hard as it is to receive a kidney, it's doubly hard. It's double the care afterwards for donating a kidney.
Yeah.
So like if I can't remember how long she was in hospital for. She was in hospital for a couple of weeks, I think, after it. But he was like you literally a live donor will be in hospital for like weeks after donating.
Yeah, like I imagine the fact that obviously your man, whoever was convincing him to sell his kidney over the internet, obviously didn't really care that it was a teen and wanted kind of obviously more gullible people. That's why he went target your man who wanted an iPhone and was willing to sell a kidney for. Didn't really care about the aftercare too much or what happened to the guy afterwards. Only needed a kidney and he was suitable. Like I would imagine kidneys would also have to be compatible. I wouldn't imagine that everyone's kidney because isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it has to be. Yeah, it has to be compatible. Yeah.
Yeah, so like they're taking a big risk on like bringing like a kidney, going nah, I'm just throwing in the bin.
Yeah, like I don't know. That's what makes me think like, is it an actual thing? Because like
Yeah,
that's major surgery. Like how long was he gone from his house? For his parents to not notice he had surgery, they're either extremely
like careless,
fucking shit parents.
Yeah, like it doesn't go like it didn't go too much because this is like a follow up story. This is about what happened. So he's now in his like mid-20s after since following this. They just said the lack of post operative care he was given, his condition got severe, and he's now just bedridden and basically can't leave his house. He needs dialysis every day to clear his blood that his kidney isn't clearing the toxins from. And he was awarded about 300,000, or his family was awarded 300,000 after the harvesting of organs. So like what could have happened was they could have done this in a day or in about 2 days. Like I'd imagine that like at very minimum, what I would imagine you could do this is over 3 days, because you would need to have got them in. Make sure that it was compatible. So even though they're like careless and you probably don't care about them, they still want an organ that they can actually sell. Because I imagine that they have a donor waiting for a particular blood type organ that, or like the kidney mightn't even be the right size. So
size doesn't really matter.
Does it not? It's blood type.
It's just blood type, yeah.
Yeah, so imagine it would be a particular blood type that they need. So they need all this beforehand. So imagine that they spend a day doing that, make sure it was compatible, and then obviously did the operation. But you may imagine that like you couldn't just like do the operation and then stick this kid just after an operation out on the street. So you're going to need a day or two before you can like travel back to like.
He's like you're going to need a lot of recovery time before you can even walk.
Yeah, exactly. Like
if you walk to like, I don't know if you've ever had like any sort of, when I had my appendix out, like I could only walk. They make you walk fairly quickly after you have your appendix out, but I could only walk for like 5 minutes a day because they're like, you don't want to put too much pressure on your stitches because they're going to burst.
Yeah, exactly. And I imagine that if you're 17 years old, no matter what, you're going to be a while before a kidney operation, before you can fully walk, or let alone get trained back on your own. And then like go back house, just walk into your house like there's nothing wrong. Like it does seem a bit weird that was allowed. Like his parents should be responsible for a bit of like the blame here. You'd imagine like this isn't only just him being an idiot selling his like basic kidney for an iPhone and now an iPod as well, I guess.
Yeah, I just don't understand how it all happened without them noticing. Even if he went off and he did it without them knowing, like he would have been gone for a while before he came back, and then he would have been in like severe pain.
Yeah, that's the other thing, and yeah, exactly. He would have been in severe pain. He probably would have had bleeding come from his skin side there, like they said in the article, his mother was like, I managed to get it out of him what actually happened or how he got the iPod/iPhone. Like it should have been pretty obvious. He should have looked like fucking a little bit like worse for wear. It looked like he was just kicked out of of a hospital after not getting proper care. He wouldn't have been like fully healthy. He wouldn't have been walking in there going, "Hey, mom, up to my room," blah blah blah. Like he would have been like in a pretty, imagine in a state.
Yeah,
Like we said,
like my sister wasn't like right for months.
yeah, like we said, like we do very little research. This could have but it was on the internet. That's all I can say. It was on the internet. I found on the internet.
My sister took ages off work. Like she couldn't work for ages after it.
Yeah, like I think this was covered by a US source as well as then obviously the media source. I think it was Lads Bible I got off, and it was covered on Chinese TV. So I'm gonna say the story's legit.
We'll put it down to shit parents then.
Shit parents, shit researching could be also a result of, definitely was a result of our next story after a blogger got banned from eBay. Her name is Lottie Remain.
What a fucking name.
She's a journalist, and back in 2012, you may remember this story back in 2012 of a woman who was trying to sell a pair of sunglasses, and she didn't obviously realize, or maybe she did, that the sunglass was reflecting her trying to take a photo of the sunglasses, so you could clearly see her taking the photo of the sunglasses. The only thing is, this woman was butt naked at the time of taking this photo. Do you remember the story? I think it was a few.
Not really.
All right, so like I said, it was back in 2012. I thought it was a lot sooner than that. I didn't think it was that far that this happened. Now, this led to speculation when this image was first surfaced and spread around social medias and stuff like this, whether or not your one trying to sell this sunglasses was doing this on purpose or not, or was it some kind of performance porn that she was partaking in.
Performance porn?
Yeah, which is apparently a thing. I don't know. Have you ever went onto that Facebook shop feature? Every now and again I'll click onto that just to have a scroll. I don't ever have. I'm not looking to buy anything off it. I just want to see what people are selling. And there's a lot of people that give away couches for free, and there's a lot of things going for mad cheap. I don't know how trustworthy buying shit off Facebook is. Imagine since their Facebook profile is linked to it, as long as you do the minimal amount of research into making sure that they just to see their page transparency, how long they've had their Facebook page and that kind of thing, you should be okay.
You'd imagine so, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Or just see if you may know people who know them by just checking out their friends. I imagine it's okay. From going through that, I often see people trying to sell stuff. This is particularly around girls. Will be trying to sell things, and they might be wearing maybe a little bit less clothes than they might. They wouldn't be showing that off, but they'd be definitely trying to throw into sex appeal into whatever the item. Instead of just laying the item on the ground on their bed and take a photo of it, they might be doing it and covering another part or having a certain part of their body showing.
Is that the real reason you go on?
Yeah, just to look at girls' tops. Just search girls' tops and free couches.
How trustworthy would a free couch be?
Do you know what? I imagine that people just want rid of their couch. They've bought a new couch. It's coming in the next few days, and they don't want to go through the hassle of having a second couch that they're not going to use, just sitting in their house for months waiting to sell it. So they're stick it up online. It's a good couch. It'll probably do someone that maybe needs a couch right now. Instead of throwing it into the dump, at least they can collect it and get rid of it for us. And
usually though, whoever delivers your couch will take your old couch.
Yeah, you imagine that. Imagine if it was in bits, then they would just do that. So maybe they think the couch is still all right, and there might be someone out there that needs a couch for whatever reason, but they don't know how much it's worth. So there's anyway, good few people stick it for free. There's that's what surprised me about going on it, was there's loads of free couches. But anyway, back to performance porn. So this kind of piqued her interest in terms of this phenomenon. So she started to do a bit of research into the whole thing, and she learned of a thing called reflection porn, which is kind of a subcategory of performance porn. So what performance porn is, because I didn't actually explain what it is. So what performance porn is taking photos of you naked and putting them in places that they really shouldn't be. So you put them in, like, obviously a buy and sell, or you put them up in Dundee, or you'd put them like on a car ad, or you put them in places where people would be just going about their day, and then you see like a naked photo. Like, so reflection porn is a subcategory of this like kind of performance porn. I always thought performance porn was just live porn.
That's what I would have imagined it was.
Well, yeah. Anyways, this is what it said I knew it was, and who am I to like question the internet? So this really piqued the journalist's interest. So she spent, I think, about 2 months looking online and trying to find people who were partaking in this reflection porn. And she found a lot of people kind of like who had a lot of images of mostly girls just in their nip, trying to sell like a TV or a toaster, and they're taking a photo of them in their nip while trying to sell. So the reflection of the toaster and the TV is of their naked bodies. Although she found, although she found like lots of images on the internet, she never came across any person that she could link to it, or anybody who wanted to talk about performance porn. So she came up with the harebrained idea of, I know, I'll stick something up online for sale, and I'll take a photo of myself naked, reflection of that, and maybe somebody will contact me who is in this obviously very secretive society, and contact me about advice or talk to me about this like reflection porn that we both partake in. So she posted it up on eBay, and not long after posting it, she got an email back off eBay saying that her account has been blocked for adult nature of her images that she had uploaded. She ended up getting her account blocked off eBay because she was trying to find reflection porn artists, I guess.
But basically, so she posted a naked photo of herself.
She posted a photo of an item where you can clearly see that she is naked in the photo.
Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, people have tried this move before. eBay and other sellers are aware of it. So, like, remember, this is 2012. I don't know when she was doing this research, but they probably cop onto this thing pretty quickly. And because there might be kids on eBay, or there might be like parents or people that might complain about these images on eBay, that they have algorithms there to find any photos that have naked people in it, and are able to whip it off the internet pretty quickly, or off their page pretty quickly. Prior to like doing this research, she went onto the Wikipedia of she started Wikipedia reflection porn, which she found no like people who were associated with. There's nothing she could find like that. There wasn't there was any kind of subcategory of people who were doing this on purpose. This is like the weird thing of the story. So she still soldiered it along. She goes, no, this is definitely a thing. I found images of it. People are definitely doing this. I know. I'll take a photo of myself where I'm naked, and then people will just come to me, like kind of almost like being the prey to them, and then end up getting herself blocked off eBay. No longer can buy or sell anything off eBay because of this.
Yeah, it's a very strange way to go about something, isn't it?
I don't know if I seen an image, if I was buying a TV, or if I was buying a new toaster like that, and I seen a naked woman, I'd be more or less inclined to buy that toaster. / pair of sunglasses. Like, I don't know how much the pair of sunglasses went for more on eBay. I think, I don't know if it was in an auction, and I don't know if it raised the price. I vaguely remember the story, it causing some kind of stir when it was hit the headlines. I don't know if the sunglasses then selling for like a good bit more than they're actually worth because of there was a naked woman reflection. I don't know if people are more willing to buy them, because you don't ever meet the person who you're buying stuff off. All you're doing is you buy it off eBay, and then they give the money to the seller after the item like it goes off, is like sent off.
Yeah.
So like I don't know like why people would buy like a really expensive toaster. Isn't like during the purchase you're gonna have to meet up to buy. Like, it's not like buying a secondhand car where you might meet up with the person and go, "How you doing?" Really creepily. I've seen your naked body and I like your car and I like your body even more. Like this is not gonna happen.
I'm gonna buy your toaster.
Yeah, for £1,000.
Is that how you got your new podcast table?
No, my podcast table, I had it in my room. It was just shoved behind my bed. It was just always there, never used.
Right. It didn't come about as some sort of a like.
No, you know how like people in like large families you get hand-me-downs.
Yeah.
This was a hand-me-up. This is what happens when you're a middle child. It's like the younger kids get bossed stuff, and the older kids get bossed stuff, and whatever they don't want, the middle kid just takes before it goes into the bin. And that's how most of my stuff in my room I have. It's just like I think I was given like for a good few years I was given like my old sister's beds, and I was given like other stuff. So like I just take things that are just about to be thrown out and go, I'll have this.
Is this why you go through the shop zone of Facebook?
I'm so fascinated about free stuff. I'm like, ooh,
yeah,
free
couch.
I've nowhere to put it, but like, I can't believe
take it anyway.
I'll take. Yeah, do you know? You might have a point there, Ken. I do have a fascination of like what people are giving away. I'm like, what can I use?
I think that could be what happened, Mark.
Yeah, right now my whole other than like podcast equipment. Well, actually, the mixing board was second hand as well. Other than like everything other than the mixing board was like I've borrowed or got free.
Where did the mixing board come from?
Someone off eBay.
Was it a naked someone?
Unfortunately, there wasn't a great reflection off it. Yeah, this is come first. So this is how like I got interested in reflection where this is going to go into. But like, would it entice you to buy anything just because like maybe not even a naked person was like under reflection of it, but like you could see that person who was selling was attractive. Would it make I wouldn't like, I don't think I'd be like, oh, I'm going to buy that more because that person is attractive.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Like, it's a weird selling angle if it was a selling angle, but like the whole thing's a bit weird. The idea that obviously there's clearly a lot of photos of people taking, like, because what she did was create a new project, which she entitled a very artistic title of, might not have put in my research, but it was like unfinished collection reflection or something like that. It was something fucking very artistic. A collection of her own naked images, which she tried when she was trying to sell whatever she was selling on eBay, as well as other ones she's found online. Which I would imagine if she wasn't able to find any of the women who took the photos, then she didn't get permission for the photos. And there's like legislation about revenge porn. So like, and there's also legislation about using other people's images without the permission. So she's putting herself into like a lot of liable like cases by just like this new project, just as dangerous as her old project as well. But like, I had a quick little scroll through some of the images of what people are putting up for sale, and like some of them are very weird. Like, you imagine the sunglasses was her, she was naked, but she was bent over so you could see like her tits a little bit more, while taking a photo from a little bit far away, and you could see her reflection in these gold kind of lensed sunglasses that looked like they're about €2. Like, but there was one where it was like she was bent over trying to sell an old TV. You know, like a small old TV, the one with the long backs on it. Yeah, one of those. And she was like, obviously she was bent over, taking the photo like backwards, like taking a photo where the camera, like she wasn't looking at what she was taking at because she was like obviously facing away from the TV while trying to take a photo of the reflection of her ass. And like it didn't make her ass look any way flattering at all. It was just like, it just seemed like a really odd way of taking a photo of like your butt.
And would it make you buy the TV, Mark?
Definitely not. It was a very old TV. Like, obviously this was taken back maybe like 2012 or even earlier. I don't know how old that photo was, but like it was a really old TV. It definitely wasn't a smart TV. It wasn't even a colour TV by the looks of it.
What about if it was back in the day? Would you have bought it back in the day?
Back in the day, I was about, what, I don't know. Back in the day, I was 12. If it was maybe like 2008, 2007, when I was like, or when I was approaching my teenage years and porn was hard to come by, I probably would have bought the TV.
Hard to come by, eh? Dun.
Like hoping that the image will be still there when I got it. All I can see is my face.
Yeah, damn.
No, I don't think I'd be that daft as a kid even back then. But yeah, no, it's just a weird story overall.
Yeah, it seems like a mental thing to be at, like.
Yeah, no, other thing is mental is believing that you are allergic to electricity.
I'm actually kind of surprised that you didn't see this story as well, because we've been seeing the same kind of crazy people stories recently.
I did see it and I went past it. I did see like, oh, that this could be possibly a story, but I don't know why I didn't click on it. It's just when I went past.
Yeah, like, have you any weird allergies?
No, when I was younger, I used to believe that bananas hurt my mouth. Yeah, but but sometimes some like soft fruit do hurt my mouth. Like the top rim of my mouth would hurt after eating it. It's weird. I don't know if that ever happened to people.
Yeah, that's. I think that's just a Mark thing.
Yeah, possibly could be.
Anyway, this guy, his name is Bruno Berich. He's 48 years old, and he lives in New Hamptonshire in the UK. And he basically he's allergic to electricity, or so he says. When was it? About 4 years ago, he started feeling really, really fatigued, and he spent 6 months in bed, just not able to leave the bed because he was too tired. Doctors sent him for a lot of tests and told him that he was suffering from poisoned by parasites, and he basically decided, no, that's not what it is. There's nothing wrong with me like that. I'm allergic to electricity because I feel seriously ill when TV is on. So he went to a seminar on it, and he's what's he call it? He calls it uromagnetic hypersensitivity. Is what he says he has.
So like, okay, so he went to a doctor, and imagine, or like, I don't know if he went to an actual doctor. This guy seems nuts. He could have went to like a naturopath or a holistic healer or one of those other.
No, he went to an actual doctor first.
All right, so yeah, okay, so I imagine the doctor didn't look at him and say, all right, you have parasites. I imagine the doctor maybe sent him for a series of blood tests to see what was wrong.
That's what he did. Yeah, he went for blood tests and pesticide poisoning. That's what it was. Pesticide poisoning is what the doctor said he has.
Like, how do you even get pesticide poisoning?
He lived next door to a field, and the farmer was spraying the field with pesticides. He must have spent a lot of time in the field or something. I don't know.
All right. Yeah, he probably could have sued the farmer then. Like,
yeah.
Like if he wasn't blaming like electricity, he wasn't completely fucking nuts, obviously. He could probably sue the farmer.
Oh, and he claims that it all has something to do with here we go now. There's at the same time that he decided he had this thing, there was a 5G mast installed outside his house.
Yeah, so does he feel like the 5G mast is making it worse?
Yeah, the 5G mast makes it worse. He's got a wife and 3 kids, and they have no central heating. They've got no electricity. He's after building himself a shed. This is where he falls into idiot of the week. He's after building himself a shed out in the back garden that he has painted with 5G blocking paint.
Yeah.
And it's going to keep all the 5G out. And he put a fireplace into it to keep himself warm because he felt bad for his kids that they can't have the heating on during winter. So he's going to live in this thing during the winter so they can have the heating on. But this is the idiot of the week part. So there's a photo of it here. I'm looking at it now, and the whole building is covered in this black tar-like paint that blocks 5G and blocks electricity and stuff. But there's a massive window.
Because obviously it needs to be a daylight going inside it.
Yeah, but like the window is
yeah, obviously, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, obviously, like it's dumb having a window there. Like, but like you said, he went to a seminar. Is there? I know people have seminars for stupid shit. But like, is there even a movement or even any studies that is meant to be trying to prove that people can have allergies to electricity?
He just said, like, he met at this seminar he went to about it. He met a lot of other people that say the same thing happens to them. Yeah, he carries around a fucking EMF meter with him.
And what's that meant to do?
Electromagnetic field meter. So like it lets you know when you're in like an area that has high electricity in it, or
but
if there's a fucking like an ESB pylon near and stuff. He spent $200,000 on all this shit, like.
So he's obviously, what does he work as?
He is a former builder and greyhound trainer.
Like, and did all of his life or did he suddenly develop this condition?
He suddenly developed this condition. He lost 5 stone, and he couldn't get out of bed, and he just suddenly developed it. Like he was perfectly normal until about 5 years ago.
That is insane how people can go off the deep end.
Where is it? There's a thing here he said that's absolutely hilarious. If he comes in contact with like electricity or here it is. If he comes in contact with electricity or a TV, or if you have electric heating on or anything like that, my eyes go black within 10 minutes and they sink into the back of my head. Whatever that means.
He's sinking into the back of his head. So, like, he rolls his eyes. That's what he's saying.
His eyes just, like, disappear.
Yeah, like, but definitely a psychological. I think, like, there's certain pesticides or something can actually affect people's intelligence. I think this might be happening.
And to stop himself getting bored, this is, like, the best, again, idiot of the week. Like, he, so like this building that he's built out the back has no lights or anything in it. It just has a fireplace, and he has, to keep himself from getting bored, he's put a snooker table in, but he's got no fucking lights.
So you only can play during the day. That's why he probably put the window in. So it's
like, but like the nights are shorter now or the days.
He probably has candles.
Winter. maybe. He has candles.
I imagine he has candles. Like, he's a builder. He's not that dumb. Well, I don't know. Like if you were married to him, like if Aileen all of a sudden believed she was allergic to electricity and started living in your shed, and like installed a fireplace there and wouldn't leave the shed. Like after a while, you'd be like, okay, I'm gonna have to leave her.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get out of here.
Especially if you had kids, you're like, I have to protect my kids. This guy's clearly mentally ill. Unless, like, sometimes, like, I don't know. Often you sound like these conspiracy theories are contagious amongst people, and you'll get to like fairly rational people, like about everyday lives. They're like normal enough. They're going about their days, and one of them hears about conspiracy theory, and the other person obviously trusts them. They're with them maybe a while, or they're friends with them, and they're like, oh, that person seems normal. If he believes that, there must be something there, or she believes there must be something there. And they both end up just going in this wormhole or this like really ridiculous idea.
Yeah, that does happen a lot. Or like, have you ever known somebody that you thought was really, really smart, and then they come out with something, you're like, oh, you're one of them.
Oh yeah, I know loads of people like that. Like, like far too many people like that. Every other part of their life, they're normal enough. Like they're able to function as a functional human being. If I said it to people, oh yeah, you wouldn't believe me what those people believe, and be like, what? How? Like they seem normal, and you're like, yeah. I think like certain people have these like blind spots by these things, and they just get like absorbed by absolute nonsense.
Yeah, just shite.
Yeah, like I know, like one of my this is like the very light end of it. One of my sister got like she's a relatively intelligent girl. She got obsessed that like sugar was the enemy. I ended up going off all sugar products, like cutting sugar out off. Like she wouldn't have ketchup because it has sugar in it. She had bought like special toothpaste because it had sugar in it. Like she wouldn't drink milk. She went off all these things. She went on this weird diet. Ended up giving herself a whole load of like allergies because like her body's now has to have like a very, very strict diet, or she breaks out in like rashes, or she has like severe reactions to a lot of foods because she went on such a strict diet and she stuck to it for so long. She gave herself all these like kind of like allergies. See what it does to your body. Once you go off it, your body like completely resets, and like it just can't handle all this crap. And it's like, no, you're just giving yourself allergies. You've made your own immune system compromised.
Problems.
Yeah, it's like, now every other part of her life, she's like very, very successful, and like functional human being, has a good job. Literally, it was her only weak blind spot was like this nutrition thing. It was like, and I know loads of other people like that. It's like to go into like alternative treatments or believe in psychics or something like that. You're like, oh god. And then they start talking about fucking anti-vaxxers, and they're like, oh, I'm out.
I'm gone.
Yeah, like fucking absolute donkeys. I like it when like every now and again they come along and they go, oh, you were right. They're like, yeah, I was.
Told you.
Funny how that
yoga is a cult.
Funny how that is. Yeah, I remember telling them like yoga is a cult, and literally a day later there was a documentary on Netflix about yoga being a cult. And and they were watching and go, oh yeah, this is a bit cultish. But like like we said, some cults are good. Yeah, someone was saying that they listened to my podcast for the first time, and they're like, I was like, oh, which one did you listen to? And they're like, oh, the one where you're talking about wanting to have your own cult. I was like, oh, yeah.
That comes up regularly.
Yeah, that comes up like a little bit too much. Yeah. This is like a mild obsession.
Become a yoga instructor.
Yeah, or open your own jiu-jitsu gym.
Yeah, or your own, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. We should leave it there about how to start your own cult. I'm not the only one. I know loads
next week's show.
I know next week, me and Ken discuss how we're going to open our own cult.
Tune in then.
I'm sure everyone's going to be definitely tuned in now.
They're going to be riveted.
And see what other squeaky chair I can find around my house.
You should try and get a different chair for every show.
Try to get one that doesn't squeak probably for next week's show. Yeah, but we'll be back next Thursday with another episode of the Shite Talk Podcast Show. See you then.
Good luck.
Shut up and sit down.